Have you been feeling mentally scattered lately? Like your brain is trying to process a million thoughts at once? Perhaps you've noticed your mind racing with ideas, worries, and sudden realizations that seem to come from nowhere. Maybe you've been experiencing moments where you feel like you're on the verge of understanding something profound, but then the clarity slips away like smoke. If this resonates with you, what you're experiencing isn't random mental chaos. It's your consciousness preparing for one of the most mentally activating lunar events of the year. The new moon in Gemini on May 26, 2025 at 11:02 p.m. Eastern Time isn't just any ordinary new moon. This is a supermoon, which means its influence will be felt more intensely than usual. But more importantly, this lunation is arriving with a very specific message. Your mind is getting noisy because it's trying to show you a truth you've been avoiding. Before we dive deeper into this cosmic revelation, I want you to take a moment right now and speak this affirmation with me, either out loud or silently in your heart. I trust my inner wisdom to guide me through mental noise to divine truth. If those words create a sense of recognition or peace in your being, please share in the comments below. Sacred noise. Understanding Gemini's awakening. To understand what's happening in your consciousness right now, we need to explore the deeper mythology of Gemini. Most people know Gemini as the sign of the twins, but few understand the profound spiritual significance of this duality. In ancient mythology, the twins Castor and Pollux represent two aspects of human existence, one mortal and bound by physical limitations, the other immortal and connected to eternal wisdom. These twins live within each of us. Your mortal twin is concerned with practical matters, deadlines, relationships, daily responsibilities, and earthly survival. Your immortal twin, however, operates on a higher frequency, constantly receiving divine downloads, spiritual insights, and soul-level guidance. Most of the time, your mortal twin dominates your consciousness, drowning out the whispers of your immortal nature. But during a Gemini new moon, especially one as potent as this supermoon, the veil between these two aspects of your consciousness becomes incredibly thin. Your immortal twin, your higher self, begins speaking louder, trying to break through the static of everyday mental chatter. This is why your mind feels noisy right now. It's not chaos, it's awakening. The ancient Hermetic tradition understood this phenomenon deeply. They taught that divine wisdom often arrives as apparent confusion before crystallizing into profound clarity. Think of it like this. Imagine you're sitting in a quiet room when suddenly multiple radio stations begin broadcasting at once. The noise is overwhelming, but each station carries valuable information. Your task isn't to silence the noise. It's to learn to tune into the station, broadcasting the message your soul needs to hear. The mental overwhelm you're experiencing is actually your psyche's way of processing a massive influx of higher dimensional information. Your soul is attempting to download crucial insights, revelations, and truths that your logical mind isn't quite ready to accept. This creates what the mystics called the sacred storm, a divine tempest that precedes spiritual breakthrough. Here's where the sacred path becomes treacherous, and where most spiritual seekers stumble into dangerous territory. Our brains are designed to fill gaps in information, a survival mechanism psychologists call cognitive distortions. Under normal circumstances, this mental shortcut serves us well. But during a Gemini new moon, when your consciousness is flooded with incomplete spiritual transmissions, these same patterns can lead you catastrophically astray. The ancient Gnostics warned of this phenomenon, calling it the Archon's deception, the mind's tendency to create false certainties when confronted with divine mystery. They understood that the ego, terrified of uncertainty, will manufacture elaborate stories to maintain its illusion of control. Picture this. You're walking through a dense forest at twilight. and you glimpse something moving between the trees. Your brain immediately creates a story. Perhaps it's a dangerous animal, perhaps a lost hiker. But what if it's actually moonlight dancing through the branches? Your mind's need for certainty creates a false narrative that has nothing to do with reality. This is exactly what's happening to many of you right now. You might find yourself jumping to conclusions about relationships, reading sinister meanings into innocent text messages, or assuming someone is angry with you when they're simply processing their own inner noise. You might receive a powerful intuitive flash about a major life decision and immediately want to act on it, not realizing you're working with only a fragment of the complete cosmic download. Cognitive distortions stem from fear, an attempt to create false certainty where divine mystery exists. They make you feel anxious, reactive, and desperate for immediate answers. Divine downloads, conversely, arrive with what the Sufis called the peace that surpasses understanding, a profound stillness that remains even when the message challenges everything you thought you knew. True spiritual insights don't demand immediate action. They invite deeper contemplation. They don't create anxiety. They generate expansive clarity. They don't force conclusions. They open new questions that lead to genuine wisdom. Consider the difference between these two experiences. You have a sudden thought that your partner is being unfaithful because they came home late. This thought creates anxiety, sends your mind spinning into paranoid scenarios, and demands immediate confrontation. This is cognitive distortion. Now imagine you have a quiet knowing that your relationship needs deeper honesty and communication. This insight brings sadness, perhaps, but also a sense of loving possibility. It doesn't demand immediate action, but invites reflection on how to create more authentic connection. This is divine download. The ancient Chinese called this distinction the difference between the monkey mind and the dragon mind. The monkey mind chatters endlessly, jumping from branch to branch, creating drama and chaos. The dragon mind moves with deliberate power, seeing the vast landscape from above, understanding patterns that the monkey mind cannot perceive. If you're feeling called to understand the deeper patterns shaping your reality right now, our Inner Alchemy Energy readings can provide personalized guidance specifically for your journey. These readings illuminate how universal principles are operating in your life and offer practical tools to break free from limitations. You'll receive insights about your divine nature and wisdom for reclaiming your authentic power. And it starts with taking the quick quiz linked in our description. But for now, let's continue exploring what this Gemini new moon is trying to reveal to all of us. The truth breaking through. So what sacred truth is attempting to pierce through the veil of your mental noise? While each soul's revelation unfolds uniquely, certain cosmic themes emerge like constellations in the night sky under this particular Gemini new moon. For countless seekers, this lunation exposes the gossamer thin illusions where they've been dwelling in spiritual denial. The ancient Sanskrit texts called this Maya, the beautiful but binding veil that makes us forget our divine nature. Perhaps you've been trying to convince yourself that a relationship serves your highest good when your soul whispers otherwise. Maybe you've been ignoring the clarion call to abandon a career path that no longer aligns with your evolving consciousness. Or possibly, you've been dismissing your intuitive knowing about a major life transition because the familiar feels safer than the unknown. The Tibetan Book of the Dead describes this as the bardo of becoming, that liminal space between who you've been and who you're becoming. The mental static you're experiencing represents your higher self attempting to shatter these beautiful illusions, like a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis. Think of it this way. Imagine you've been living in a house with windows painted to look like beautiful landscapes. The paintings are lovely, but they prevent you from seeing the actual garden blooming just outside. Your immortal twin is essentially saying, "Beloved, stop admiring the painting and step outside to experience the real garden of your divine potential. This process feels uncomfortable because truth often demands metamorphosis, and transformation requires us to leap into the great unknown. Your mortal twin craves safety and predictability, so it creates elaborate stories to avoid these revelations. This internal battle between what you know to be true and what feels safe generates the mental tempest you've been experiencing. Your current mental overwhelm is this sacred underworld journey. The cacophony in your consciousness represents old beliefs, outdated patterns, and limiting stories dissolving to make space for your authentic, divine nature to emerge. Just remember, this isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. Communication breakthrough awaits. One of the most luminous gifts of this Gemini new moon lies in its potential to unlock unprecedented levels of sacred communication. If you've been struggling to articulate your soul's deepest truths, express your authentic needs, or navigate difficult conversations with grace, this lunation offers cosmic assistance beyond anything you've previously experienced. The ancient Egyptian mystery schools understood that when Mercury aligns with Gemini's essence, human speech gains the power to literally reshape reality. Your words during this period carry what the Kabbalists called creative fire, the same divine energy that spoke worlds into existence. This is not metaphor, but spiritual mechanics. Think of the difference between a regular flashlight and a laser beam. Both produce light, but the laser's focused coherence can cut through materials that would stop scattered light completely. Similarly, your communication during this new moon period gains laser-like potency when properly focused through divine intention. Many of you will discover that conversations you've been avoiding suddenly feel not only possible, but necessary. The words you need will rise to your lips like dolphins surfacing from deep ocean waters. Complex emotional truths that you've struggled to express for months will flow with startling clarity and grace. Here's a critical reminder to keep top of mind. Before engaging in important conversations during this time, you must first commune with your immortal twin, your higher self. Create sacred space through prayer, meditation, or simple centering breath, and ask, what is the most loving and truthful way to express what needs to be spoken? This practice transforms potentially volatile conversations into opportunities for profound healing and deeper connection. The ancient Sufi tradition taught that all conflict stems from incomplete communication, when we speak from our wounded places rather than our whole hearts. As this new moon energy begins its sacred integration over the coming days and weeks, you'll witness a profound alchemical transformation, the scattered symphony of mental noise gradually organizing itself into crystalline clarity. The Hermetic tradition called this the great solve et coagula, the dissolution of old patterns followed by the crystallization of divine wisdom. This transformation rarely happens overnight. Like a master perfumer allowing rare essences to blend and mature, your consciousness needs time to distill the spiritual downloads you've been receiving into practical wisdom. The ancient Egyptian mystery schools taught that all divine revelations undergo three phases: reception, integration, and embodiment. During the reception phase, which you've been experiencing as mental noise, your immortal twin downloads cosmic information faster than your mortal mind can process. This creates the spiritual static you've been navigating. In the integration phase, which begins now, your consciousness starts organizing these insights into coherent understanding. Finally, in the embodiment phase, this wisdom transforms from knowledge into lived experience. The Celtic Druids used the metaphor of the sacred cauldron to describe this process. They taught that spiritual insights must be allowed to simmer in the cauldron of contemplation before they're ready to nourish the soul. Rushing this process creates spiritual indigestion, incomplete understanding that creates more confusion than clarity. Here's what you can expect as the integration unfolds. Suddenly, seemingly random experiences from recent weeks will reveal their deeper purpose and interconnection. That conversation that felt confusing will make perfect sense. The relationship challenge that seemed impossible will reveal its hidden gift. The career uncertainty that created anxiety will transform into clear direction. This is when the real magic happens. When the truth that's been trying to reach you through the mental static finally breaks through with the clarity of mountain spring water. You'll find yourself knowing exactly what needs to change, what deserves to stay, and what your next evolutionary steps should be. The ancient Sufi poets described this moment as the lifting of the veil, when the beauty that was always present suddenly becomes visible. It's not that new truth arrives, it's that the obstacles preventing you from seeing what was always there finally dissolve. But remember, beloved seeker, this clarity isn't meant to create more pressure or frantic activity in your life. True spiritual clarity brings what the Buddha called right action, movement that flows from peace rather than anxiety, from love rather than fear, from wholeness rather than desperation. When you're living in accordance with your authentic truth, life becomes what the Taoists called wu wei, effortless action. Challenges still arise, but you meet them from your centered essence rather than reactive patterns. Decisions become easier because they align with your soul's deepest knowing rather than external expectations. Divine timing's sacred gift. As we draw this lunar transmission to a close, let us return to the profound truth that weaves through every aspect of this cosmic event. The mental noise you've been experiencing isn't a spiritual malfunction, it's a sacred initiation into expanded consciousness. The ancient mystery schools taught that every authentic spiritual breakthrough follows the same pattern: dissolution, chaos, and reorganization at a higher level. The caterpillar must completely dissolve before the butterfly can emerge. The seed must abandon its familiar form before the tree can grow toward the sun. Your current mental overwhelm represents this sacred dissolution, the necessary chaos that precedes divine order. Remember that the truth trying to reach you through the static has been perfectly timed for your soul's evolution. The Hermetic principle, as above, so below, reveals that the cosmic reorganization happening in the heavens mirrors the consciousness reorganization happening within you. You are not separate from this universal process. You are an active participant in it. The Sufi poet Hafez wrote, "I wish I could show you, when you are lonely or in darkness, the astonishing light of your own being. The mental noise you've been experiencing is this astonishing light breaking through the clouds of ordinary consciousness. Trust its sacred timing. Honor its divine purpose. Allow it to transform you. Be patient with the process, gentle with yourself during moments of confusion, and infinitely compassionate toward the part of you that craves certainty in the midst of cosmic mystery." The Buddha taught that all suffering stems from resistance to what is, and what is right now is your consciousness, expanding beyond its previous limitations. The clarity you seek is already present, like the sun behind clouds. The mental noise doesn't need to be eliminated. It needs to be recognized as the sound of your soul, breaking free from the constraints that have kept you small. The ancient Gnostics called this the song of liberation, the music that plays when divine truth finally finds a clear channel through human consciousness. Your immortal twin, your higher self, has been calling to you through every moment of mental overwhelm, whispering, "Beloved, you are so much more magnificent than the story you've been telling yourself. You are ready for the truth. You're ready for freedom. You're ready to remember who you really are." Trust that the magnificent clarity awaiting you on the other side of this cosmic awakening will illuminate not just your next steps, but the radiant truth of your divine nature. The noise in your mind isn't random. It's sacred. It's your soul's way of preparing you for a level of authenticity and spiritual power that will astonish you. If this transmission has resonated in the depths of your being, please share your experience in the comments below. How has your mind been feeling lately? What truths might be trying to break through your mental static? Your insights could be the exact medicine another soul needs to hear on their journey of awakening. Remember, beloved seeker, you're never alone in this sacred process of becoming. We are all part of the same cosmic symphony, each playing our unique note in the grand composition of universal awakening. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your spiritual journey, and may this Gemini new moon bring you the crystal clarity and divine truth your soul has been seeking. Until we meet again in the sacred space of wisdom, may you walk in beauty, speak in truth, and live in the radiant light of your authentic divine nature on your path to a better life.